Ooh, do you hear that sweet, sweet podcast intro music? Welcome to Super Slam, the podcast where we talk about... Wait, keep going. Where we talk about the latest and greatest in slamming. Yeah, baby. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you. So, welcome to the podcast. I would say welcome to the name of the podcast, but I actually haven't thought of a name yet. Just like my parents, 2 minutes before I was born, they just sort of, I don't know, they looked at the first 5 letters of the alphabet and said Cade, put that together, see what that does. It's worked out pretty well for me. I just started meeting new Cades this year. I lived 20 years of my life without meeting anyone else with the same name as me, and I guess that gave me a sense of entitlement. Wait, I'm going to take off my hood because I look like a dumpling. Yeah, I'm going to leave in the sound of all of that because it's fun, and I like to waste your time. So I was talking about running into Cades for the first time in my life, and that has been an awakening. I met the person who actually has the @Cade, just our name, on Instagram. Something that would be an ideal for a Gen Zer such as myself is to have that where it's just the first name, because the greats have that, like J-Lo. Her name is just @J-Lo. Well, that actually doesn't prove my point at all, but you get the point what I'm saying here. And not only did I meet this person who has this handle, but he actually goes to the same university as me. So respect to everyone who has the same name. I just thought I was unique. I thought I was a plastic bag drifting through the wind. But it turns out I'm a firework. Oh, man.
This is going to be a long night, so just buckle your seatbelt.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. You said it best. Buckle your seatbelt, people. Because we're going to be talking about basically whatever comes to the synapses in my brain. I'm just going to be talking and doing a show here, and I have no idea what exactly that's going to entail, but I thought having a handheld mic would sort of make things a little bit more fun, because when I would watch American Idol as a kid, I'd want to hold the microphone. I don't think this anymore. I guess I do, because it's manifesting in me using a handheld mic. So I'm actively contradicting myself, but I don't know. It's something about the microphone itself, like, or in Ariana Grande's case, to sell out Madison Square Garden years after years. But I was actually, speaking of Ariana Grande, somebody pointed out something interesting on TikTok. They showed a scene from Sam and Cat, where Sam and Cat, the two main characters, talk about having enough money to solve him, where people... Okay, that made absolutely no sense. And I was hearing myself because I have the headphones set up where I can hear myself, which is very off-putting already. But let me start over. See, I like wasting your time, as I said. That is one of the staples of this podcast. Another staple is the creaking noise of my swinging egg chair I bought online. I'm going to put the mic up to the creak. I don't know if you could hear that. Probably not, but anyway, somebody was saying in Sam and Cat, the Victorious and iCarly spinoff, which I enjoyed. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's trash," but at the time, I was trying to get as much Nickelodeon and Disney content as possible, as I hung on to the last years of watching those shows and actually enjoying them. Because around that time when Sam and Cat came out, it was like all these shows that we loved stopped running, like, you know, the classics, Wizards, Hannah, That's So Raven had been off, I think, for a few years. I was one of the ones who saw Phineas and Ferb as a show for children. I know a lot of my friends watched it. And that's okay because I would sometimes watch shows like Good Luck Charlie, and they would probably look at that show as a childish, juvenile encounter. But what was I saying? Sam and Cat, right. I've been watching TikTok, you guys. I don't know if you know what TikTok is, but so I've been watching TikTok. So I saw this TikTok where there was a scene in Sam and Cat in which Sam said, "Oh my God, whoever said money can't solve your problems is wrong." And then Cat, played by Ariana Grande, says, they must not have had enough money to solve them. And then that's a Seven Rings lyric. If you didn't know this, I'm an Ariana Grande proficionado. Some people tour and taste wine. Some people decide to know every single lyric to Gwen Stefani songs. What I soon discovered about TikTok is that the algorithm, it's all about the algorithm, right? Because the algorithm can suck you in based on what you favorite and like. So it uses what you like and favorite against, basically not against you, but they give you better content based on what you favorite and like. And the other day I realized that I had been watching videos of people painting birdhouses because I favorited and liked one of those videos. And so from now on, I've been using my like and favorite very carefully, people. Okay, the power is in my hands. I got the 6 infinity stones. 1 favorite stone, 1 like stone, and 4 other. So I got on this tangent about TikTok, and I regret the thing I did. Because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters, you guys. That's the cold, nihilistic point of view we got going on here, but that's why everything does matter at the same time, you guys. I think everything does happen for a reason, and that reason is that all amounting to the hopes that Lil Nas X will win a Grammy. I think that's what the finale of human life will be and surmount to, and that's okay. And let's transition to a new topic. And totally not going to acknowledge that transition music, but I will say that I did want to be a Disney actor when I was younger. Let's get into that a little bit. Let's talk about why people want to be Disney actors when they're younger. Because you come home from school and school is so shitty, and you're bored out of your mind. You're procrastinating. You're in the first few years of procrastination, mastering that art. And if your parents let you watch TV, then that's what you did. You watched all these shows. And for me, it was channels 31 through 33. That was like, ooh, 31 through 33. Like, that was it. Like, every hour, something new was coming on. If there was Courage the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Network 32, and I was scared and I didn't want to watch it, guess what? Go down 1 channel. You got Disney Channel, and there would probably be like Hannah Montana on. Flip that on. That's, you see what you select. This was back when we used cable, right? Because I grew up with cable, and I actively transitioned to streaming as soon as possible. But my parents had cable, so that's what it was. So you could see what the next 3 hours of programming were for the Disney Channel, and it'd be like a 3-hour marathon of Hannah Montana. And those were the days, you guys. But now I have marathons of better shows like Euphoria, where there's drug cartels and teenagers going to rehab for overdosing on fentanyl. So those are the kinds of things that we watch now. I'm a 20-year-old Because I'm going to look into some news stories here because I started a podcast and you need to talk about things on a podcast. So I'm going to look at the news and see if I can find some topic starters here, see what's going on in the world, and sort of break it down here. So Kylie Jenner slaps back at Alex Rodriguez. No, I didn't. See, we always end up talking about a Kardashian. That's just the way things are meant to happen. So what's the story here? Kylie Jenner shot back at Alex Rodriguez Tuesday after he said in an interview that she spent the Met Gala talking about how rich she is. Rodriguez and Jenner sat at the same table at the May Gala, and Jenner claimed on Twitter, she's tweeted a tweet that they were actually talking about a TV show, how rich she is. We're talking about Game of Thrones. So here's what it is. Alex Rodriguez basically said Kylie Jenner, the billionaire, was talking about how rich she was at the Met Gala. Okay, if I was there, I would be talking about how rich I was too, because that's literally why you're there. Like, I'm not getting an invite to the Met Gala. And if I was, I'd be talking about why did I get an invite to the Met Gala. But Kylie Jenner, no, dude, you don't call out. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm being too defensive of Kylie fucking Jenner, right? I think probably that's the case, but I think Alex Rodriguez is a good guy. I've seen him on Shark Tank, and that's the extent of it because I don't watch sports, and he was a guest shark on Shark Tank. I'm sure there were some cocktails spinning. I'm sure the Grey Goose was getting people loose. And Game of Thrones is interesting, especially when you're in the Met Gala and you look to your right and there's a 16th century breastplate, an armor breastplate with arrows in it. I would talk about Game of Thrones too, okay? But let's get off this very pointless and brainless topic, okay, people? Let's get back to the good stuff, the intellectual talk, the Disney Channel. Let's see. Camila Cabello splits from boyfriend Matthew Hussey after dropping sexy video with Shawn Mendes. Well, yeah, they're obviously a thing. Like, I thought that was... I don't keep up with Shawn Mendes or Camila Cabello, but just from the things I've seen, like, isn't it, like, public knowledge that they're a couple? They literally made a song together where it says, "You make me come, you make me come." Let me get the lyrics here for you guys. "I love it when you call me senorita. I wish I could pretend I didn't need ya, but every touch it's true. I should be running. Oh, you keep me coming for you." And they pause after the coming, so it's like, it's basically like I was showing my mom what ASMR is, and she was like, "That's basically porn for your ears. What is going on? That's so freaky." But I would say that suggestive lyrics like this is basically porn for the ears because the imagery it invokes, like, land in Miami, the air was hot from summer rain, sweat dripping off me. This is like the modern day Singing in the Rain. And that's cool. Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, good on ya. I think, once again, another pointless story here, people. I am, again, suffering through these headlines.
Siri, why does God allow suffering?
Hope that didn't trigger your Siri, and if it didn't, I'll just do it right now. Hey, Siri. Oh, mine. Mine just went, huh? Where do we get our news from, and why do we get listen, I understand it's important to think about things in the world, right? And there's a lot of important stuff that we have to know about because we want to make conversations with people, but I think sometimes it just gets too it gets too weird when people are constantly like throwing out random shit about some huge insurmountable topic in conversation when you're hanging out. You're supposed to be, decompressing from the life, the world that is crazy, and then people will willingly, bring into conversation all this stuff about crazy stuff they see on the news and all these facts that they probably are, right about. And I should probably listen, but it's just me here. I saw this other news headline about how there are actors reading the Mueller report, and it's literally like famous actors, like some of them you might know. Zachary Quinto was the biggest name I saw. Also, the guy used to play the Mac in the Mac and Windows commercials. Those were actually like really bomb commercials. And they basically printed out the Mueller report and were reading it like you would read a play in a high school theater class. Like they were all taking turns with their parts. Like it wasn't a table read because they were standing up at podiums. And they basically just made an audiobook of the Mueller report. And Audible should probably cash in on that if they haven't already. Or they can make a podcast. I'm going to be 21 and, let me see here. Hey Siri, how many days till September 28th, 2019?
It's 94 days until then.
So in 94 days, I'm going to be 21 years old, and I've never had a fake. And it's not, stop the clapping. No, it's not because I think people who do that are bad or anything. Hypothetically, I could have, tried to get one, but it's just not. I like a little. And time for another topic change. You know what I love about human beings is like when our country has a birthday, we just send shit up in the air and explode it. Like we are having a dopamine explosion in our heads and we need to externalize that, I guess, by showing a huge explosion. Because like if you see those like stupid stock footage of dopamine, it's like a firework in the brain, and it's like fireworks are literally externalizing shit, but it's also like a violence. And humans are animals, and when we celebrate, it's like a gorilla getting up and like beating its chest. Like we are celebrating and we're showing, look, we can explode colors in the air and make them into shapes like pretty hearts and other pretty colors. And I think that's pretty interesting because like if we're gonna externalize that explosion, what else are we gonna externalize? Like what are the reasons that we do these celebratory things like blow out candles? Like shouldn't you be lighting a candle like this is the light of my new year of life? But instead we're blowing our precious oxygen and CO2 onto a candle. And oftentimes if you're young, it's fine because 5 years old, 5 candles, great. I'd even go up to 20. I'd do 20 candles. I'm 20 years old right now. I'd appreciate 20 candles on my cake for me to blow out. But the thing is that when you get older, you have to transition to those stupid wax number candles. And that's 2 candles. You're saying that the light that my life is going to bring for the next year, for celebrating my year, is 2 candles, a 5 and a O. I've lived 50 years. There should be 50 candles. 50. At my 50th party, I want to see 50 individual candles on a birthday cake. And the good news is that will increase the size of the cake itself to fit the candles. And we could externalize other things too, you guys. Like if we're going to externalize blowing out candles on our birthday to close the chapter, why don't we just go ahead and externalize our anxieties by looking at our phones all the time? That could be really fun too, is we could really just look at our phones instead of looking at each other, because that is where we can just escape to. Thank you. Let's see what else here. I was showing my mom an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I was scrolling on Instagram as I do. My mom basically asked if I could make her a fake Instagram just so she could comment on Kourtney Kardashian's post saying, "Go back to the valley." I'm not exactly sure what that means, but my mom apparently has some beef with Kourtney Kardashian, and I don't blame her because Kourtney is the most threatening of them all. She basically is always wearing pajamas, always eating salads. How could you not be threatened by that? All right, guys, our last topic for today's Aimless podcast is I noticed that chakras, I've heard about chakras. Basically, it's like the inner sanctum of your brain is like you can like fix your chakras to make you feel peaceful. And what I noticed is that chakra is like raw chalk. Like you could, if you flip the words, it's like raw chalk. And I wonder if that's kind of like the key is like using raw chalk to sort of fix your chakras. So thank you guys so much for listening to this first episode of the Aimless podcast, and make sure you subscribe and come back for the next one because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm grateful that you're listening. Peace. I did it. Wow.